Welcome back. We've been considering the use of presentation software for lectures, mostly concentrating on how text is displayed on the screen. This, of course, brings up the question of why. When you think about the lectures you've hated, weren't they the result of too many words, verbal and on screen? Is it possible to curtail this somehow and still give a meaningful lecture? Let's see. I'd like to teach you something right now. So, did I need to verbalize what this was a demonstration of? Did I need to spell it out for you? Probably not. You most likely ascertained I was trying to teach you the steps in making a papier-mâché hat. See, you didn't even believe me about the papier-mâché hat. But I was able to show you concepts behind landing a plane by using nothing but visuals, animations, and sounds. This philosophy ties in perfectly with Bandura's social learning theory, where behavior is learned by observation. It also finds common ground with Gardner's multiple intelligence theory, especially with visual spatial learners. This technique even taps into adult learning theory by building upon previous knowledge. Most adults are aware of airplanes. They understand they use airstrips to land. But the basic procedure for landing adds to their understanding. They were even exposed to the idea of flaps, which allows a plane to fly at slower speeds without falling out of the sky. Even with limited sound, images and appropriate movement can be effective tools in communicating and learning. Of course, this would be no big surprise to Hollywood legends like Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton. They communicated concepts and feelings to millions around the globe without uttering a sound and using very few words on a screen. Of course, I could have presented this lesson in old-school PowerPoint style. Reduce speed to 80 to 100 knots as shown on the airspeed indicator to descend. Extend flaps up to 100% if needed as speed decreases. Landing gear should be lowered and locked into place. You must have 3 indicator lights in order to land safely. Thrilling, I know. Of course, I should explain a little bit more about what knots are, what the airspeed indicator actually measures, and exactly what 100% flaps means. I should also point out this is the first text I've used in this presentation. Of course, I could have combined some visuals with my text and narration. However, all of it together gets distracting. Finding the right combination of elements in a presentation is an art. It takes practice, and there's plenty of advice out there. Most will say not to use animations, sounds, and unique fonts. You can see their point. Did any of that make sense? Did it confuse you? Am I making things even worse by asking you lots of questions? But it's probably more accurate to say use animations, sounds, and unique fonts sparingly and logically. If you want to convey silence, it should not brashly grab your attention. You might get away with slowly uncovering the word with a shh. Now the word, sound, and animation make sense. Stillness certainly shouldn't be moving with sounds and bright lights, since those things have nothing to do with the word's meaning. Ah, much better. There is no obvious sound or motion for level. Maybe an all capitals font might make it look more level, but that's grasping at straws. Actually, this is a perfect candidate for being left alone. So let's do that, and let's do it often to avoid irritating your students. Some suggestions about animations are a little misleading. One proclaims just use the appear animation to reveal text because it's less distracting. Is that really true? Let's compare some transitions and find out. I'll let you be the judge as to which animation is the least distracting. You definitely don't want to crowd the screen with too many items, especially words. Some say about 6 words is the limit. Well, it depends on how you do it. For instance, wow, now that's a fantastic instrument. It was also another fantastic example of how to let your text do the talking so you don't have to. If you don't say anything, you can't conflict with the text on screen. So let's take a look at those features again. You know, maybe I'll take up playing drums instead. Yeah, drums are good. I can take out my aggressions toward all the poor presentations I've sat through over the years. Some final thoughts about lecture presentation in general. 15 to 20 minutes max. When you're done, engage in other activities. Discussions, group work, games, even quizzes are good in between lectures. Use the presenter view if your software has it. Presenter view is the term Microsoft uses. Your presentation software may use a different name. This allows you to have an outline or a script you can refer to without presenting it on the screen to your students. This prevents the duplication of verbal and text messages, which everybody hates, and keeps you facing the class, making it easier for you to focus on your students as opposed to looking at the screen behind you all the time. Finally, utilize all these techniques to create online lectures. Your software may permit you to rehearse timings and record your narration. You can then convert the lecture to a video file, which can easily be posted online. In fact, that's exactly what I did for these lectures on the best practices for presentation software. Now go out there and create lectures that keep students coming back for more.